Hey, what's good, y'all? It's your boy DJ Fanatic at soundsforproducers.com. Welcome to another episode in this series where I'm going over producer books that inspired me and also had some great inspiration. So if you haven't seen the last episode, it's about action from this book right here, From A to Z, by no other Zaytoven. Dope producer, reigning from Atlanta. But anyway, I'm gonna get into the video and go over the next chapter, which was, we'll find out in a second. But anyway, just kind of highlight certain things that stand out to me, and hopefully it'll benefit you, and hopefully you can take it and learn from it, or it'll show you something different that you haven't, especially if you're starting out producing. Even if you've been doing it for years, maybe it's just something that you're not doing, you know, that you haven't tried before. Maybe some of these words might help you. So anyway, it'll be short. Have a look. Alright, so I'm gonna make this quick. I'm not gonna talk super long like before. Well, the video is pretty short. But I wanted to touch on action, which was the last chapter. Basically, take action was what that chapter was about. And I mentioned it in videos and tons of times, but you can't just, well, you can wish on a star, but you kind of like, you want to be, how can I put this? The other book I would love to highlight on this channel is a book called The 10X Rule by Grant Cardone. Basically, you can't just always pretend or wish that you could get something. Like, you have to take action. Like, you can't just sit on your ass or sit on your hands and be like, yeah, I'm gonna get there one day. I'm gonna, you know, get a Grammy, or I'm gonna get a plaque, or I'm gonna get on one day, and not take consistent action. And not just action alone, you know, it's mind and action, like physical action. So you can't, for instance, be like, yeah, I don't know, I'm gonna get signed to the biggest label as a producer, but you only make one beat a month. Or I'm gonna have a $2 million studio, but you're not doing anything to generate any income. You know, you're still working for someone else at some company or whatever. You're not out there going to meetings, making music every day, and then going to work. You're not taking action. It's kind of like a car stuck in the mud. You want to be able to, you know, if a car's stuck in the mud, it ain't going nowhere. I mean, especially if it's in neutral. All you're doing is hitting the gas and you're hearing the engine rev up, but you're not doing anything. So imagine if you stepped on the gas and you know, somebody threw some sand under the tires or whatever, or they put a piece of wood, so you're gaining traction and you're creating movement. Another analogy is like water. Like, let's say you're walking in a circle in a big pool, and you know, it's momentum. Like, when you're walking, you're creating that action, that movement. So I mean, I can go on and on. There's another analogy I can think of when you're creating action. Action is like energy. You know, you got energy, mental energy and spiritual energy, but you also got that energy when you're moving. You ever notice, like, I don't know, when I'm like cycling, I cycle a lot, I get energy just by physically doing something, and that's taking action. So it may not be like making beats or whatever, but it motivates me physically and mentally. So basically, taking action is part of the formula to getting from point A to point B, point Z. So let me get back to the chapter that we're going to talk about. It's chapter 2, and hopefully I made some sense there, but taking action is vital to your success. Let's just put it frankly. So believe, I don't know if you can see that, There we go, camera fix up. Believe. Every chapter he starts out with a Bible quote. So this one is Mark 9:23. Why do you mean, if I can't, Jesus asked. Anything is possible if a person believes. Now, Zaytoven is very spiritual guy, religious, and I'm spiritual as well, but not part of a religion. But I'm, believe in God, and I believe in, something that brought all of this together somehow. But that's not where I'm getting at. I know some people don't, or atheists or whatever. I'm not here to debate about religion. It's a centuries long debate. But, I am spiritual, and I know there's energy out there that a source created and is creating every time we inhale and exhale, every time we move, every time we think, every word you hear in this video. But anyway, basically what he's getting at is believing. Let me read the first sentence and see if I can find something that stood out to me here. And there's quite a few things, so I don't want this video to be too long. Oh no, okay. After years of playing in the church and clocking countless hours in the studio practicing and steadily trying to improve, my name started circulating in the streets as a solid producer. Around this time, I graduated high school. My parents relocated to Atlanta. Although I decided to stay in the Bay to build on the momentum I was getting, but it was hard. I was cutting hair and making beats, but I had more bills than money. Oh yeah, and he had a movie called Birds of a Feather, which was dope. It's kind of like his life story, so make sure you check that out. I thought it was inspirational. So, what he highlights here, and what I thought was dope, is believe in yourself. Man, shout out to Kato. Kato on the track. He actually recently posted something that we get in our own way sometimes, whether it's fear, self-doubt, laziness. Come on. We all get lazy. I did a video on this as well. If you haven't checked it, it's about, I think it's called The Golden Moment. But make sure you check that out. But believing in yourself is probably the most important. And I'm not talking about a conceited, I'm the best producer in the world. I can make that beat better than him. Yo, he's whack. That's where you're separating yourself and you're creating negative energy, and nobody would want to work with you like that. That's short-lived. That career's short-lived. That mind frame doesn't get you anywhere. Believing in yourself is so important. I can't stress enough, because if you don't believe in yourself, no one will believe in you. It starts within. It starts from within. Your belief in yourself, knowing that you can, whatever you want to do in the world of production, there's so many different things you can do. Maybe you just want to live making music the rest of your life. That's what I would love to do. I would love to sound design and make music the rest of my life. Currently, I am not doing that, but I am transitioning to that, and I will do that. So believing in yourself is so important, because you got so many outside sources that don't know what's going on in your head, that doesn't know how dedicated you are at whatever goal you want to do in music. So believing in yourself is creating that sense of strength, and like a rock, solid, like nothing can penetrate you. You're like the hardest material in the world, believing in yourself, because that belief in yourself will carry you through anything. Trust me. I doubted myself early, man. I was like, yo, I can't believe I'm getting older. I didn't get to make music the way I wanted. And, I was also doubting myself as am I in focus? Doubting myself as like going to showcases. Like, man, I put my heart and soul in this beat, but it ain't ready yet. We're all perfectionists. Producers want to get that perfect snare, that perfect kick, perfect EQ, pitch this, pitch that, stretch this, cut that. It's self-doubt, underlining self-doubt, because you think that you're not ready, but you are ready. You have everything you need right now. It's all around you. You just got to believe it and believe in yourself. So I can't stress that enough. I was a little nervous about leaving. Oh, here we go. My parents offered me the basement of their house to use as a studio, and I decided to take them up on their offer. It's funny, I used to live in my dad's basement. In order to grow, I knew I had to move. I was a little nervous about leaving, but I believed that God had something better for me. Once I made the decision to relocate to the South, I put a plan together on what I needed to do before I left the Bay. Every dollar I earned from playing at church, selling beats, and cutting hair went towards production equipment. I would put each piece on layaway, and every time I paid off an account, I'd have it shipped directly to my mom's house. I even got a job unloading trucks to pay off everything as fast as I could. During this period in my life, I didn't have much time or money to do anything else, but I was okay with that because I believed in me. Now, this is how I related to this book so much, because as a DJ, that's all I always wanted to do when I was DJing. Like, I always wanted to be a DJ. I thought it was so cool. Like, a lot of people I looked up to were DJs. Like our local DJs, I always liked watching breakdancing in the streets in New York, and like my cousin and his friends were like DJs. They would spend hours in the room just cutting records, scratching, and actually he passed away, man. Yeah, rest in peace, brother. Rest in peace. But that inspiration, just being in New York, and music is just insane at the time, and I always wanted to be a DJ. So what I did, I used to save up every dollar I had. I wasn't into video games. It was video games and DJing. So like, I'm gonna keep it short. Maybe I'll do a background story if y'all would like to see one about me. That'd be dope. Just put it in the comments if you'd like to see it. But yeah, I used to save up money. My lunch money. I used to go days in high school without eating, a whole day, and then just eat dinner because I wanted one turntable. I had saved up my, I think my entire summer allowance to buy 3 records, Yes records. And at the time, those records, they weren't even like a whole album. They were just singles with remixes on the back. And they're actually probably right over there. Right over there. You can't see the entire case over there. Maybe I'll turn it and hopefully it'll stay in focus. Boom. It's right over there. And we'll get back in focus. Yay! So, you get the idea. So anyway, believing in yourself that much by making those type of sacrifices announces, like, that defines your belief. You know what I mean? You know that you can do it. You know this is only direction I want to go, So believing in yourself, he made those sacrifices, and I can totally relate to it. And not alone that I saved like an entire summer for records, then one turntable, then I got a mixer, and then I got another turntable over a span of like 2 years. My family wasn't very wealthy at the time. I didn't have all this stuff behind me. Anyway, I'm not going to make this story about me. It's about this. So definitely making sacrifices like this, I know you can relate to, because, we got bills, we got expenses, and this equipment ain't cheap. And you also think, you want every new thing that comes out. Unfortunately, I had that problem sometimes, but I gotten better over time. So let me find the next thing. I would make music. I would make music even if I wasn't getting paid. I feel the same way about barbering. I didn't know that was a word. Those are my passion in life. I can't merely just think about those things. I have to do them, and I strongly suggest you adopt the same mentality. There will be sleepless nights, plenty of times when you have to deal with the politics of the business that make you want to quit, money disputes, contract disagreements, industry folks not believing in you, artists who get the big head after they get a hit record with you, times when you have more dreams than money. In other words, you will be put in situations that you'd rather not be in, but have to deal with them anyway, all for the sake of keeping your dream alive. I can't tell you how many times I've had no sleep, had the flu, had family issues on my mind, but have gone into the studio anyway, hosted a party anyway, attended an event anyway, invested and lost my own money, all because I don't look at what I do as a job or even a career. And I know we all can relate to that. So, believe in your plan and have faith, basically. Have faith that it's going to work out. And I know that's a daily battle. And also, you know, not only yourself, you're not alone in this. You can also believe in others, you know. Basically, this gets into him and his belief in when he met Gucci Mane. One day, a guy by the name of Radrick Davis came to the house after someone told him about my studio and that I made beats. So he believed in an artist probably more than the artists believed in themselves. And also that reminds me when Jermaine Dupri, I don't know if you watched that show, what's the name? Uncensored? I think that's what it's called. He talked about how he met Chris Cross. So he kind of had this feeling. He's like, that's a star. Or that person can rap. Or that person can sing. Or that person just has something about them that the world needs to see. So believe in others. Be open to that. Be open to that feeling, because it's not only just you. Believing in an artist, that's dope for a producer, because you think about it. There's so many producers that were put on or brought to the public eye because of an artist. But not many people know that the producer sought that artist. So believing in others can pull you, you know what I mean? And also push you. So that is one thing to keep in mind. I do recommend. And I don't know. I believe, actually there's a few artists that I believe in that I would love to work with right now. What else? I believe in a lot of producers that I know. When you just know they got it and like they have this great mentality. So anyway, believe in others as well. So, ask yourself this question until you get an answer. What is that one thing I can do right now, right where I am, with what I have, that will jumpstart my career? That's what I'm talking about as far as action. As soon as you discover what that is, act immediately. For me, it was believing in an unknown guy off the street with no music experience and working tirelessly to make a hit single with no promise of anything happening. Whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. Michael Jordan believed in himself after getting cut from his high school basketball team. Colonel Sanders founded KFC at 65 years old, using his Social Security check because he believed. In 1984, Steve Jobs was fired from Apple, and we all know how that turned out. Believe. That's a great way to close that chapter, because I read Steve Jobs' book, which was like 600 pages. It was super long, man, but it took me on a journey, like, to know all the things he went through to make Apple what it is today. And I heard about the Colonel Sanders thing. I didn't know he was 65 years old with his Social Security check. That's crazy. I know that he was turned down, I think they said hundreds of times with his recipe. And also they laughed at him in his face because if you think about it, it was the first chicken food chain. Like, he was trying to market a fast food chicken, franchise. That was unheard of at the time. And if you think about it, that's like me, well, I already have ice cream. Think about any type of food that you try to make fast food. Maybe like a sushi McDonald's. They were like, well, it's not fresh sushi if it's fast food. You see what I'm saying? So he went against the odds. Michael Jordan's story is crazy. So they all believed in themselves. And it's good to, in closing, and I went over time a little bit, but in closing, it's good to read about people that have these wonderful stories. It's a really great inspiration because it shows you what's capable and what you could do. It's very motivational because I read so much stuff and it's crazy. Like, I was unaware of all these stories of so many people and all what they've been through, and to what they are today. A lot of us take things for granted as it's always been like this, but it wasn't. And knowing the backstory of what these pioneers have done because they believed. Henry Ford's story is really dope. Check out his story. There's so many. Walt Disney. I think about the Kanye West when he says Walt Disney. But yeah, there's a lot of great stories. So that is Believe. That was an awesome chapter. Hopefully I touched on, some really good things for you to take away and learn from and just kind of grow. Again, the book was dope. It's a quick read, it's pretty short, but I would actually love to read it again now that I'm going through some of the things that I, appreciate. And actually, I liked all of the book. He's just a deep dude, man, and his stories are awesome, and I can relate to a lot of it. So, Zaytoven, if you've seen this, what's good? DJ Fanatic, thank you for sharing the world with your music, and also, you being, such a positive force in music as a man, as a person. And thank you for inspiring the producer community. And you inspired me, man, so hopefully one day we'll cross paths. So there we have it. Hopefully, like I said, you got some type of value from it, and I'll catch you at the next video, in the next chapter, and I hope you appreciate or enjoy this series that I'm going over these books. And I'll get back to doing some beat making videos, and let me know what you like to see, what other type of things you like to see for this channel, producer related, because it's all about the producer community. And maybe I'll do a series on whatever you want. So anyway, again, if you haven't subscribed by now, click the button. It's free for you to do that. Click the bell as well, so that way you get to see more videos. That way you're alerted to see more videos in the channel, especially when we put up new stuff, and all kinds of stuff, beat making, producer tips, loops, all that. So anyway, thank you for joining me. I'll catch you next time. DJ Fanatic at soundsforproducers.com. Peace.